How is DaaS a security solution? It's not. What DaaS is DaaS is an enablement tool for security, right? Through the proper implementation of a DaaS solution, an organization can make themselves inherently more secure. You can consolidate all of these disparate threat vectors, right? All of these external devices. You can modernize your approach to doing things like patch management, antivirus definition, distribution, and management and remediation. And you can simplify the overall architecture of your solution, right? The way your users consume the things you provide them, whether that's applications or access to data, um, remote access, things like that. So, in doing those things, you can dramatically simplify the way your organization has to approach its security. You'll still need things for security solutions, right? You'll still need things like an antivirus solution or an endpoint detection solution or a managed detection and response solution, right? Those things are always going to have some form of a place in the organizational network, in the corporate environment. But what DaaS allows us to do is to really simplify the manner in which we have to deploy those larger solutions by streamlining everything, making everything come under one single unified management umbrella, and presumably in turn lowering the cost of implementing those specific security solutions that do just that, by requiring less licensing, by requiring a more simplified approach to how to deploy them, how to implement them, and then especially from an IT perspective, most importantly to me, how to manage them. Right? Once we have those things in place, who administers it on a go forward basis, and is that making your day as an IT admin or an IT manager easier or harder? Um, the other side of this too, when we talk about security, is usually in the past, at least in my experience, right, the two areas where we see all the traffic, all the conversation happening these days are around security and around user experience or customer experience. Usually those two things were at the behest of one another, right? If we can imagine a scale for everything that we would do to increase our organizational security, we were probably slightly diminishing the user or customer experience, right? Things like multi-factor authentication, even with single sign-on, right? Think of all the hurdles that we've seen firsthand or heard other folks deal with of trying to implement password policies, let alone implement dual factor or multi-factor authentication. Because doing things to make our environment harder to get into, right, naturally tends to make the user experience a little bit more challenging. So what DaaS and a DaaS-like solution would allow us to do is to really simplify those two things and simultaneously, right, make our organizations inherently more secure, like we talked about, while also increasing the user or customer experience by having better productivity and better mobility. So again, right, DaaS can definitely help from a security perspective. DaaS should be in the security conversation. But DaaS in and of itself is not a standalone security tool. It's not an off-the-shelf product that you go out and buy that you then implement into your existing topology to make what you have today more secure. DaaS is a different way of doing things. It's a different way of approaching the problem that can then help us to consolidate, modernize, and simplify our IT solutions to make them more securable.